Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame and Cinnamon Sugar, and this is the recap review for Tyler Perry's Sistas. So this episode started where it left off last time, where Zach is on the phone with that woman. Well, she's a senator's wife, somebody, judge's wife, somebody. Remember there was a situation where Andy's firm was handling something for one of the people and all of that. There was a connection with the cases. Zach ended up kind of being a part of the situation too because she rolled up on him at the airport and eventually he gave into the stock information and he made all this money off of it. So anyway, this woman that rolled up talking about I need to talk to you as soon as possible. And so he trying to figure out what she want. And she like, do you really want to talk over the phone about this? I was like, come on, Zach, you ain't dumb like that. Now come on. So she was like, meet me at the hotel. So he already looking at her like, man, I can't meet you right now. I can't meet you tonight. And so she was like, when can you meet me? Because I'm not going to be here for long. I'm not going to be here forever. And so he was like, I'll just meet you when I can. I can't do it right now. So Fatima is actually in the middle of coming in the house. And he like, all right, whatever, trying to get off the phone. So Fatima already be knowing what it's hitting for. She can sense the energy that's going on. His energy is off. It's completely different from what it was before she left the house to go gather her things so she could spend the night with him. And so she's like, what's going on with you? And so he trying to lie to myself, nothing. Like his whole mood is off now. And so she was like, I could tell something's wrong with you. It's written all over your face. Why are you looking like that? She tried to get him to talk. He wouldn't say nothing. So she was like, well, I'm going to go take a bath. You can call back whoever you was talking to, like, whatever. So eventually she was like, was it Karen? And he was like, no. And so she was like, well, whenever you're ready, I'll be here to listen. And I'm like, child, it's a mess. And so he was like, don't be mad at me. She was like, I'm not mad. And so he was like, yeah, she mad. So Logan, I guess is what that man's name is, and Danny met up at the restaurant. He didn't got his entire life because of how she looking. She cleans up well. When she want to look good, she be looking good or whatever. And so she trying to understand why, what am I getting all this for? Why are you acting like that? And so he was like, I'm just blown away. You look good, whatever. And so he was like, well, you made the reservations and I see we over here at this four top, like what's going on? And so she was like, I invited my friend and her man to come or whatever, her date. I wanted to be a foursome, if you will. I don't trust nobody. And until I can better understand if you're going to be somebody that I want to be in my life like that, because I don't trust nobody. Like, I don't trust y'all. Like, I don't know what it's hidden for. So if it goes well, then, we might be able to have a nightcap and then we can be off by ourselves. But in the meantime, in between time, it's going to be all of us. So she wants to get to know him, see what he got going on. And so the waiter come over there, she orders a martini and he orders a beer. So she's like, a beer? And so he was like, yeah, I'm just a normal guy or whatever. And so she was like, you do know that this is a nice restaurant, right? And so he was like, that's fine, but I'm just an ordinary guy. So they're having a good old conversation. And he's trying to figure out a little bit about her because, she don't tell nobody nothing. So she was like, I mean, ain't really much to tell. I'm from Detroit and I came here to go to school, went to college, got my degree, never went back. I work at the airport. That's it. So he wants to know, what did she get her degree in? And so she didn't say what it was or none of that. And so she was like, yeah, I don't really want to talk about that. I have student loans. I work. I do what I'm supposed to do. Like, it is what it is. So then, the normal first date questions start coming up. What's your favorite type of music? Who's your favorite artist? And so, of course, a lot of the stuff is lining up with the type of stuff that she expects a black person to say. So it's like, okay, this heifer going to eventually ask him. So I have another question that I really want to know the answer to. So do you like cows? I was like, heifer, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. This heifer going to ask him, do he like cows? Does he know any cows personally by name? Like, everything is going back to rodeo, Preston. And so he is really trying to figure out, like, is this something that we need to have a conversation about? Like, what are you even talking about? And so then she was like, "Oh, did you did you see my hair? I curled my hair. It looks." And he was like, "Yes, I like your hair." And then she was like, "You do know it's a weave, right?" He was like, "Yes." And so everything is still back to her feeling some type of way because of Preston. Preston didn't know what the situation was. He had to learn a lot of this stuff. He had never been in a relationship or dated nobody like her before. So it's like, how you can't get this man grace? He really lived for her. Anyway, it's a mess. And so, of course, she wants to know what's going on because she don't believe him when he says he's not married, because he's saying, "Oh no, this is a fake wedding ring that I wear when I'm doing my undercover stuff. Like, I'm not married." And he was like, "You see, I ain't got it on." And she was like, "You know that means nothing." And that's what I keep trying to tell people all the time. People don't put their wedding ring on all the time and be married. My daddy didn't have his on most of the time because his hands were always in motor oil and everything else. And he would have to come home. And for those of y'all who know, you know, we could have lava on deck and all the other things that is supposed to help degrease in situations when you're washing your hands. Because that's how much my daddy was up under the hoods of cars and lawnmowers, doing all kinds of automotive things. So it wasn't no reason for my daddy to have his on, but he had it. It's right on the stand. My mom ain't never have an issue with it because it was just to the point where ain't no reason you didn't put it back on. If you're going to be all like that, I understand. But I don't think you out here saying, "Oh, I ain't going to put it on because I'm out here fighting bopping." So it is what it is. So anyway, she still don't believe him. She still feel like it's suspicious as to why, you know, he is who he is and he living for her. Like, everybody be trying her. She's run across nothing but trash dudes and people who were already in relationship with people. So I understand to a certain extent, and it is what it is. Well, meanwhile at the house, Maurice done rolled up. This whole situation is stupid, right? Because I'm like, I know this is not the angle that y'all trying to play this foolishness. Maurice came home, obviously, from work. Q told me, "I done cooked dinner for you. You want me to warm it up for you?" And instantly it's like, "You know, you and Sabrina had me to rob that bank." And so my thing is this, you know how sarcastic Maurice is. So Maurice was like, "Yeah, we had you to rob that bank. Yeah, you messed us up from being able to go and run off and do this, that, and the other." Yeah, because he really sat up there and came out of his mouth and said, "You and Sabrina made me rob that bank." I don't even understand. The writing for this part don't make no sense. Like, it don't make no sense. So he is clearly a CI, which means confidential informant. What? And somehow they made it so Maurice was stupid enough to say, "Yeah, me and Sabrina did this, me and Sabrina did that." But the whole time he's saying it in a sarcastic way. And I feel like if anybody were to hear the tape playback or is listening in currently as it's happening on the wiretap, you could tell this man is being sarcastic. Like, what is you talking about? You ain't never said nothing sideways like this before. Now all of a sudden you over here talking about you and Sabrina made me rob the bank. I would have told him, I would cuss him out. You don't get out of my house right now. I don't care if you're playing or not. You get out of my house right now. The fact that he got you at your place and you over here trying to set him up because you know you wrong. And this is apparently the reason why you were able to even get out and have early release. If you don't get out of here, this whole scenario is stupid. I don't even want to talk about it. That's how stupid it is. So anyway, we'll see how that stupidity plays out as the season progresses, because it should be almost ending sooner than later. So Gary, y'all know he stormed out of Andy's place in a tizzy because, you know, he's having these flashbacks of moments he should have never seen because he's spying on Andy from across the road, from up the street, around the corner, across the way. So he done called Aaron because Aaron is supposed to be able to help him through all of this type of stuff. And I'm like, y'all, I'm just like, if you don't get somewhere and sit down, get somewhere and sit down. Okay, y'all. So Gary ended up having a crisis. He called Aaron over there to his office because he left his office and went straight over there. Because, you know, where Andy's place is right there up the street. So anyway, he get there. He trying to walk him through it, trying to calm him down. He's like, "You got to calm down." And he was like, "Well, what if you go out there and you find a woman, another woman, because Andy's single. Y'all ain't together no more. You need to, you seem like you're fixated on Andy, sir. What is going on here? This man calmly rose up and looked at him and was like, didn't your wife kill herself? I said, oh, all the breath from my body, all the breath. I said, wait a minute. No, you didn't. You done went woof. You done went woof. So I was like, oh no, you done went off. So he looking befuddled, like, wait a minute. Well, how did I become the target of all this? We supposed to be helping you through this crisis. So he was like, wow. He was like, oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. He was like, no, you meant it exactly the way you said it. He was like, man, clearly this counseling, this therapy isn't working for me. He was like, it will work for you if you let it. Ain't nobody got time for this. I got my own stuff going on, whatever. And so Aaron ended up leaving. I was like, oh my God, he went off. So back at the restaurant, I never could think of that man's name, but the African Prince and Sabrina showed up. They were late. And so you could tell Danny seems to be having a decent time. They let them inside so they can start talking. And so I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? And so it becomes awkward pretty quickly. And Logan was like, the menu used to be right here. It was right here, whatever. And so they start to try to order, and he over here like, I got a phone call. And so he said something, the old boy was like, don't I know you? And so he was like, no, I don't think so. When he said that, I was like, wait a minute, please don't tell me that he had something to do with some of the sex trafficking and things going on around here. Don't nobody have time. Is it just the fact that he might be somewhat cultured and he knows about him being an African prince? Like, what's going on? Please don't let it be nothing dealing with the trafficking. But then it dawned on him about Sabrina, and he was like, oh no. Some stuff going on with Sabrina. So he over here talking about he got a phone call, or maybe he got a text message and he got to go. After all this time, you've been trying to roll up on Danny. Danny finally give you the time of day and you done rolled out. So now Danny's like, I don't know what he got going on. Like, he might be married. He say he ain't, but I don't trust it. And so they trying to get her to stay. She was like, I'm not going to be a third wheel. And so when she leave out, old boy was like, oh, your friend is so beautiful. And she was like, yeah, that's my friend. And so he was like, yes, okay. And so he was just like, all of your friends are beautiful. And she was like, yeah, I'd like to meet all of your friends too. Like, he going off. Like, he really looking around her, like looking off into the distance as Danny walking away, living, get his life. I was like, this is how you get slapped. What is we doing? Like, look, I would simply be like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. Let me go on. Like, I don't know if it's the typical African thing that we are inclined to believe that's going on. I don't know, but ain't nobody got time. You ain't finna be sitting up here sending it off over my friends. I'm a one man woman. You need to be a one woman man. Ain't nobody got time for that. I don't believe in you having everybody and their mama. No, I am more than enough by myself. It ain't just because I'm fat at the moment. I am more than enough by myself. Y'all can't even handle one woman, me. So I'm gonna need you to sit up, go somewhere and get your life together and not try to roll up on my friends. That's what we're not finna do. So anyway, you could tell that the awkwardness is still there and she's still trying to go on with the date. And I'm like, child, ain't nobody got time for it. He was like, no, my focus is on you. No, take me home by myself. Have another driver to come get me because I don't even want you to be in the car with me. Like, no. So Zach has finally come into the bathroom where Fatima is soaking in the bath and brought her a glass of wine. And so, he all happy to see her, and she wants to know if he wants to join her in the tub. And he was like, no, I don't. And of course, she's still trying to press the issue, wanting to know what was going on. And he was just like, look, I don't want you to have to worry about nothing. And so she was like, I don't want to have to worry about you. Like, what's going on? And he was just like, just let me process it. Like, I will tell you when the time is right. And it's just to the point where he's just like, I want you to enjoy all these positive things that are going on. I don't want you to have to worry about nothing. So when she made it seem like she was done with it, he was going to walk out the door and she was like, are you sure you don't want to tell me? Because you can tell me. I'm doing too much. I'm doing a little bit too much. Oh, okay. So Danny done got home. Old boy done called her. Logan done called her. And she looking like, what's up? Like, you done set it off on the left, right, front, and the back. And now you calling me? Like, why is you calling me? He was talking about some, can I link up with you? Can I meet up with you? Like, I want to see you. And so at first she's kind of reluctant about it. And so he was like, I'm not far from you. And so she was like, okay. He was like, well, I'm outside your door. I'm like, sir, why everybody outside folks' door? Talking about I'm nearby, or I'm not far away, and yeah, I'm away because you right outside the door. Anyway, so she went and let him in. He goes on to tell her that, it's some stuff going on that he can't really tell her about. And so she looking at him like, why are you here? Like, you done ran up out of there with no explanation, but then you gonna come to me and still not give me an explanation as to why you left. What is the reason for you even being here? You could have stayed where you was at this point. So he was like, can you please let me try to explain or whatever? So she's like, okay, let's sit down. So he was like, is your friend's name Sabrina Hollins? And so she was like, yeah. Then wanted to know about, is she a decent person? Like, how is her personality? What's going on? And so she was like, she's one of the squarest people I've ever met. Like, she don't play no kind of game. He was like, wasn't she involved in a bank robbery like a week or so ago, or a few days ago or something like that? Because he wants to know like what she's like. And so when she told him that she was square, he was like, I hope she is. Okay. And so she was just like, she's square. Like, she's, upstanding citizen. She abides by the law. She do everything she's supposed to do like me. Like, what you trying to say? So he was like, I really can't tell you what's going on. But when the bank robbery situation came up, she was like, wait a minute, Danny ain't no snitch. Danny was like, I don't think I need to answer no more of your questions. Like, I have a few questions of my own. Like, what is this about? Like, no. And so he really can't come up off no information because it might be something that's going to jeopardize the investigation or whatever's going on. He just was telling her, tell your friend she need to get a lawyer. Like, if your friend really is upstanding and ain't did nothing, she need to get a lawyer. I was like, what? And I'm telling y'all, it's pretty much the Q situation, which is stupid. Yet again, Maurice's responses are very sarcastic. And if anybody sits up there and they take them in a way where it's like, oh, wow, he's confessing, y'all are dumb. Anyway, so Andy is at the house. And she is calling Karen because she wants to kind of vent and talk to her about what Gary just did, because Gary just stormed out of the apartment trying to figure out what's going on, the condo or whatever it is she's staying. So Karen lied to myself, I'm driving around, and she was like, girl, it don't sound like you're driving around anyway. I need to talk to you. And so she was like, oh, what Gary do now? So she's looking at her like, wow, okay, this is what we do. And so she was like, so is this not what this is about? And so she was like, it is what it is, but what are you doing? And she was like, girl, you're not going to tell me where you at? You're not going to tell me what you're doing? And so she was able to guess that she was like, you better not be at Zach's house. I was like, girl, no. No. So she over here like, well, did you call to talk or not, Andy? So then she goes to talk about what went down. And so she was like, I might have to get somebody else to sweep my place because I feel like he knows about something. Like, something ain't sitting right. Like, the way he came in and he looked around, he seemed very suspicious, whatever. So she gonna get on that. So then, she's basically like, girl, I'm trying to be by myself. I'm just trying to sit here alone. Girl, you outside of Zach's house doing the most. So anyway, she was like, okay, fine. And so before she got off the phone with her, Gary ended up calling to my son, can I see you? I want to talk to you or whatever. And he is outside about to come up. And so she was like, okay, yeah, you can come up. So then she get back on the line with her again. It was like, are you in front of Zach's house? And so she was like, girl, I'm here to talk to him about this baby and I'm going to do it. So it's like, girl, this heifer stupid. Like, she is a glutton for punishment and I don't understand. Like, be glad that the situation is over with. The baby probably ain't his. Like, be glad. Like, it is so stupid. And I understand. This was 3 years. Like, y'all would have thought this was a 10-year relationship like what I had. It got to stop. And they were off and on. With my relationship, it was on. 99.999% of the time, it was off for a week when I left him. For a week. because I was done with the relationship. Child, this was literally on again, off again. I'm mad at you. You go out here and cheat on me day in and day out. Oh, okay. Girl, what? Toxicity to the highest degree. What is going on? So anyway, Gary then came up, and so she was like, what's going on? He tried to play that role like ain't nothing going on, and he was trying to apologize for how he left out. And he actually came clean and told her everything. Even told her that he has a telescope and that he can see her from where he works. And so she was like, that's BS. And so he was like, yes, I can. I have a telescope. That's the reason why. So now she was like, now it all makes sense. Now this heifer getting some sense. She read him, called him jealous, and all this other stuff. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, girl, he's going to kill you. He going to squeeze the life out of you this time. He going to squeeze the life out of you. So I actually can't believe he told her the truth. But she started going off. And she was like, oh, you're clearly crazy. You clearly need medication. I said, oh no, not the trigger words. Not the trigger words. You finna kill this heifer. This is what my fault is. You finna die. You in danger. So she over here trying to compose herself, like she's kind of on the verge of hyperventilating. She was like, you need medication. And he was like, I clearly need something. And so she was like, get out. You need to go. Just get out. And went off. And she was like, you know what? Since you paid for this, because she had to read him. She was like, okay, so you think that because you paid for this place that you're going to be my company? He was like, yes, I bought this for you. I should be able to be the one who's receiving all this stuff. Boy, if you don't get so down, she was like, you know what? I'm going to go to my apartment that I paid for. I'm going to call up the escrow and get them to send all that stuff, reverse all of this. And so he trying to follow her. She likes to shoot. Since you won't leave, I'm going to leave. She ended up leaving. And I thought he was going to do like most people there. You'll see somebody in a movie or in a TV show. They'll put their foot in the elevator door. I thought he was going to put his body in the door and make himself be able to get inside. He didn't. I'm actually shocked. But like I keep telling y'all, it's going to take a slug for him to learn. Some people have to die to learn, and I hate it. And I understand it's a TV show, but I'm in real life too. People who act like this in real life, because I know people like this in real life too. My ex will get angry at the drop of a dime. Some people need a slug to stop. Some people have to be maimed to stop. Like, it has to be something very drastic for them to stop. So anyway, so Karen got out of the car. She knocking on the door. Zach come to the door. And he looking like, what are you doing here? She was like, we need to talk. And so now she in her feelings because he won't even invite her into the house. And she was like, I always let you back into my house, but you can't even let me set foot in your house to talk to you. What? I can't even see the inside of your house. You won't even show me what the inside of the house look like. Girl, y'all ain't together. Why he need to show you what the inside of the house look like? I'm going to need to see verification that this is his baby. First of all. So until all of that happened, you don't need to see nothing. I said what I said. So if she in her feelings, she was like, oh, she in there. Is she in there? It don't matter if Fatima at the house or not. What they got to do with you? Y'all ain't together. He done read this heifer. I'm with her. I am in love with Fatima. It is over between you and I. She ain't trying to hear it. She always tells us, like, you need to say it. You don't love me no more. It's not over. Our relationship is not over. This is what you always do. You always go out there and cheat and sleep around, and then you come back. And that's what you're doing. So you need to stop it. Girl, why are you excited and wanting that to be the case again? And so he even read her, was like, you Miss Independent Woman, ain't you? Like, you always read me, tell me to get my weak behind up out of here and all this other stuff. She was like, it doesn't matter. Had to hit the rock on him. It doesn't matter what I said to you. The Rock used to kill me when he was wrestling. He'd be like, it doesn't matter. Y'all, I'm sorry. The Rock was so hilarious. He still is hilarious. But he was a wrestler. He was so funny. But anyway, this heifer crying down, I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you, Zach. I'm in love with you. Like, girl, bye. Girl, bye. He done told her it's over with. And I'm like, man, where Fatima at? I'm like, man, tell me why. He done told this heifer again, I'm in love with Fatima. And so she was like, I'm not leaving. I want to talk about this baby right now. I don't want to do this alone. And so, well, if she gonna be in y'all lives, because you saying what you telling me is that Fatima gonna be in both of our lives. Okay. Oh, so if she gonna be a part of our lives, I'm finna go in the house. We gonna talk in the house. But I'm gonna talk to her too. Oh my gosh. And so he was like, yes, basically if the baby is mine. She talking about why you doing this. I don't understand why you doing this. And he told her, you gotta stop this. She was like, I don't gotta stop nothing. I'm not doing anything. He was like, I'm not playing any games. She always about you playing games. Child, he over here trying to understand what it is that he got to stop. Man, Fatima was like, oh, we got something we got to talk about. What needs to stop is this. Yeah, she was like, no, there is something to stop. She was on the top balcony looking good. I said, wait a minute. She said she finna come downstairs and talk to her. I was like, no. Woo, child. This was so hilarious. But anyway, y'all, hopefully y'all enjoyed this recap review of Tyler Perry's Sistas. This was funny. It was just the part that was stupid for me was the Maurice and the wiretap situation. I feel like no matter what kind of way they try to spin it, it's going to be stupid. But anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. Subscribe to my channel. Thumbs up this video. I'll see y'all later. Bye.